Okay, so with tourniquets, we're looking at the type of bleeding, right? Which is what? Spraying, spurting,
and
pouring. And what's the amount of bleeding we're looking at? More than typically
like
more than
6
half of a
ounces.
can of soda, right? Soda
yeah.
can, right? But the thing is with this, if this injury is spraying and spurting blood, and all of a sudden we put direct pressure on it, and it stops spraying and spurting and bleeding, then we might not need a tourniquet, right? But then we're going to go ahead and we're going to get some dressings, and we're going to dress it up. But if we put the dressings on and it continues to pour blood, spray blood, and bleed through, then we want to go with a tourniquet, right? Because we've seen amputations that don't need tourniquets, and we've seen minor punctures and minor injuries that actually need tourniquets. So the injury doesn't really dictate the tourniquet; it's the amount of bleeding. So spraying, spurting, pouring blood, more than half of a can of soda. And then if we apply direct pressure and it continues to spray, spurt, or pour, we're going for a tourniquet. So this injury is kind of on its side, so you got your tourniquet all set up, right? We're not wearing any gloves right now, which is totally fine because you're going to help your dad who got a massive puncture from a drill bit like we did in the garage. You got a massive puncture in my thigh. Okay, so go ahead and put your tourniquet on. So you open it up, right? We always have our handle, we have our loop. You always want to pull towards you, so go ahead and cinch the tourniquet down. There you go, I'll hold it for you. Okay, high and tight on the injury. The first pull goes very tight over the clothing, right? But not over objects. We don't go over the injury site. We do not go over the joint. Then we're going to twist until what?
Bleeding stops.
Until the bleeding stops, right? So twist until the bleeding stops. All right, and so twist until the bleeding stops, so you can't twist anymore. Lock it in. It's still bleeding. All right, so lock it in. All right, you couldn't twist anymore. What do? Second T is tuck the tail, right? Tuck and twist the tail. Time tab. Okay, sweet. So the tourniquet's fully applied. So we'll hit a pause here for a second. What happened though? Are we still bleeding?
Yeah.
It's still pouring blood. So now what do we have to do? So what's the S stand for? Second tourniquet. Do we have a second tourniquet? No. We don't have a second. So what are we going to do? We're going to start wound packing. Okay. So go ahead and start wound packing. Nice and gentle. We're going to roll that ball. Find that artery with your finger where it's bleeding from. Stuff that ball onto the artery with one finger. Hold pressure with one finger. Now feed the rest of the slack in. Okay. All right. There you go. It feels like it's stopping. I can't push any more pressure, but you go ahead and keep packing until the wound cavity is actually fully packed. If you have any excess gauze, stick it on top. Keep packing, finger over finger over finger. And this gauze can be just regular gauze. It can be 4x4s. It can be our Celox gauze. Whatever our Celox gauze is. So it can be the hemostatic dressings, right, that have the stuff that's inside the dressing that actually forms a clot. This stuff's about 3 minutes to form a clot. They have the Celox Rapid that'll form a clot in about a minute. With this regular gauze, regular type dressings, that could be anywhere from 3 minutes to 10 minutes. It might not even stop the bleeding. Then we continue to apply direct pressure as he's done, and then we want to go ahead and apply our compression dressing. All right, but because this is all messy, we're not going to do that. So well done. Sweet.
Did you live?
Huh? Yep.
Did you save you?